Without further ado, I would like to start this. And Luke, with Propy, take it away.
Awesome. Well, Sherry, once again, thanks for putting this call together, and I really appreciate everybody being on today's call. So, as Sherry was saying, we do things a little differently than most title companies. So, one of the things that we pride ourselves about is that we are open 24/7. So, as Sherry was saying, we can open up escrow on the weekends. Why agents like us is because we are able to really get the skin in the game from buyers, right? So we all know it's so super notorious for buyers to go under contract on a Thursday or Friday and they leverage the weekend to not deposit escrow until Monday. And what they do is they go shopping over the weekend. Well, with Propy, you can get that agent and get the buyer's commitment to say, "Hey, look, we want escrow deposited, on the weekend." And we could do so via, with Propy because what they have is they have connections with Plaid Banking. And if anybody's ever used a Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, or have done any type of bank connections, you probably have used Plaid. Has anybody on this call used Plaid before?
Yeah, I like it because they it's safe and secure from what I understand. And I type in my Bank of America, actually it knows it already, my Bank of America username and password, and it goes which accounts you want to use. I don't have to do anything, and then it just sends the money.
Yeah, and it just sends the money. So that is how we're able to get instant deposits right into our escrow account, once again, after hours or on the weekends. And that's how we pay our agents 24/7. So even if you have a closing, it's late in the afternoon, it's on a Friday, it was just a crazy closing and you're finally getting it done, say at 6 p.m. Well, we're gonna make sure that you get paid right there and then, as long as we have the disbursement authorization form, you're gonna get paid via ACH into your bank account too. So no more waiting for that process to pend and approving your bank and so forth. We want to make sure our agents are getting paid as soon as possible. With that being said, what we also do for our agents is because we have a full in-house marketing team, we already pay for them to do marketing. So we want to make sure that all of our agents can utilize our marketing team at no cost. So say you have a listing that's coming up or on the market and you need marketing to be done. Maybe you want social media content done, reels to be created. You need a broker open house flyers, you name it. We can create you that marketing with your name, your branding, your headshot, etc. Any verbiage you want on there, property stats. We'll create several different options for you and within a 24 to 48 hour turnaround, and then we'll drop you a custom Google Drive link. So you can just go right in there, download the marketing that we provided you, and then you can go ahead and utilize it to hopefully, you know, get more eyes on your listings and bring buyers to the table. So that's something that we do as well. So we encourage everyone to utilize that because it's a big value add in today's real as a realtor to really get your property out on more platforms than just Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes, and so forth. A lot of individuals, I know a lot of agents who drum up a lot of business just on Instagram alone. So it's a real thing. And then the other thing Sherry has talked about is yes, not only do we transact with traditionally cash financing and so forth, we are the only title company to transact with cryptocurrency. And I know that sounds crazy, right? Like this is like you're saying, it's this magical coin, like where does it even exist and so forth? Is it real? Well, it is. It's a true asset. And even Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are looking at it not just as a source of income, but a tangible asset to to be factored towards your net worth and help buyers get a higher approval from the banks. But then they also get the same benefits if they were like pulling from their IRA or something, or 401k to use their funds for a down payment on a home. So more and more buyers in today's country are utilizing these types of assets, especially after recent things that are happening in Congress. There's been a big boom in gross profits in a lot of these tokens. So what we're seeing more now than ever are these buyers that are saying, "Hey, I just made some gains. Can I utilize it to purchase real estate?" And they're coming across our platform, which I'll show you here in a second, looking for agents and looking for a title company to facilitate these types of transactions. It doesn't matter if it's a down payment, an escrow deposit, or full outright acquisition. What we're able to do, because we are the only title company with an actual escrow account with one of the major exchanges, which is Coinbase. What we do is when we receive these funds, we turn them right into US currency and then we hold it in an escrow account within Coinbase. The reason why we keep it within an escrow account on Coinbase, just like we would keep an escrow account in a bank with a cash deposit, is because if the deal ever fell through and say the buyer gets the funds back and so forth, we're able to send that back in what's called a stable coin, a USDC stable coin, which follows the US currency in a fiat dollar.
I have a quick
But
question about that because
go
you
ahead.
have answered my question that I was going to ask. But
Mm.
does don't the val does the value of the coin fluctuate? So if you kept it, if it was in there for 45 days or 30 days, would there ever be a problem where it wasn't worth what it was worth?
Great question. And that is why we turn it right into, so two reasons to why we turn it into a stable coin. One is because it essentially is a dollar now, a digital
Oh,
dollar. So the stock is, or I say stock for those of you who are not familiar, it's actually a token. That token, the fluctuation in price, if it goes up or down, is not reflective of what is in escrow anymore because it's a US dollar.
oh, so
So
you convert it right away into the stable coin and then
correct. We convert it right to instantly
oh
into a dollar. So if it's for example, it's if it's $5,000 in Bitcoin, as
yeah.
soon as they send it in, it turns into $5,000 cash,
Oh,
essentially.
good. Okay, I got it. And then if they have to do it back, you reconvert it and send it back to them.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. And then so if it goes to the to closing, the sellers get funded cash. Say if it's outright acquisition, they get funded cash. If here's a leveraged loan that is in place, the lenders receive cash and funding. So by the time you get to the closing table, really, nobody knows that cryptocurrency
Right.
was used. I mean, the lender would know if there's one involved. However, the seller would never need to know. So it's a completely secured and safe process. We have verification. Just with any verification, if they're depositing cash escrow, we facilitate those types of transactions here at Propy.
Amazing. Miriam has a question. Go ahead, Miriam.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Let's just say, for example, in your cold storage wallet, you have the crypto that you're going to be using for a closing, etc. You go ahead and that's converted into a stable coin. What are the tax ramifications? Like it went from cold storage out of nowhere, right? To all of a sudden now it's tax, like what are the tax ramifications of doing it like that?
I love that question and I love to hear the cold storage wallet and so forth. So definitely know that you know what you're talking about. So we are not, I would say we are not the IRS. However, we do stay completely compliance with SEC. We do get audited all the time because we're the only title company that does this. But we are not doing tax filings on what individuals are sending in. So that is to
Okay.
the individual who is sending it in, that is on your behalf or your buyer's behalf to do those reports.
Okay. And same if for whatever reason the deal didn't go through and now you're going to be sending me, for example, stable coin back instead of, there's going to be a big chunk of stable coin coming in that I'm going to have to sort of account for probably. Got
Reconvert
it.
to the
Yeah.
token that you had, yes.
Okay. All
Okay.
right, cool.
Thank
But
you. And Sheila asked who pays the fee with you.
so just great, yeah, another great question. So just like any type of transaction, say if you're wiring or so forth, there's a small fee. There is a fee as well, sending those funds and us receiving it, but it's really just for the escrow account and Coinbase's fee. So, example, if you know what gas fees or so forth are, there's always a fee to send cryptocurrency. So it just depends on that exchange. If you're sending it from maybe an exchange and it's not a cold storage, then there's going to be a fee associated with your exchange. So every buyer is going to that holds this type of asset will know that there is a small fee included with that type of token. Some is more, some is less. We do have a calculation. If it is in a cold storage and you're sending it to our Coinbase exchange, we do have a calculation that we will let the buyers know what their estimated fee would be. And then so there's full transparency before sending it. But then once again, if it's held within an exchange, they will know what that fee is before sending it. So it's kind of a hard answer to a hard question to answer, but what I could say is it's usually very minimal and it's to be expected with these type of uh, holders with this assets.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what we need to know from this is if you have a customer who wants to use Bitcoin for their transaction, now you know Luke can do it. That's all you need to, I understood everything you said, but no, but now we know that, I have somebody that has done it. How many transactions, putting you on the spot, have you guys done?
Hundreds of millions in the Bitcoin range, in the
Really?
cryptocurrency. Yes,
Boy,
hundreds.
I'm old. All right, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay,
I,
good.
yeah, no, we've done. I can't even. I mean, I try to keep some of the big names private, but we've
You,
done 40
you don't have
million plus single family home purchases in Bitcoin in Florida. So here's some very large transactions in Tampa specifically. We are working with a development called the Aura Development, and they are a luxury hotel slash condo development.
Yep.
We a private equity firm came forward and with us, and they dropped 31 million in acquisition in cryptocurrency
Wow.
alone. So there's real money in Sarasota, for example. I had an agent who's working on $1 million acquisition in cryptocurrency. So it's a real thing. Here's real money out there, and some heavy movers in the industry. I,
Great. Thank you for that.
Yep. And what I would like to cover and what we're seeing a lot of individuals utilizing, and this kind of goes back to what Marianne was asking, right? Like the tax, like what would happen with reporting taxes and so forth, right? What a lot of our individuals are using, and this will just kind of be like a quick synopsis on this. What we all know what a 1031 is, right? You can roll
Does
over.
anybody, hold on, does
Yeah, yeah.
anybody not know what a 1031 exchange is? Be honest. This is just us. Okay. So for the people who are watching that don't know what a 1031 is, Luke, take it away.
Yeah, so essentially it's a tax incentive from the government to roll over your capital gains into a like kind or greater property. And so you're not paying capital gain taxes on the gains, right? And it's an incentive so that you can reinvest into the communities throughout the United States. And so this is super beneficial to the economy and to locals in the area. So what that's a big tax incentive, and you see that a lot with private entities, within family trusts, so forth, and just individual, investors, right? Uh, why and the capital gain taxes is the biggest incentive, and then to an income producing property. Well, what they have in the crypto industry is called a DeFi loan. It's another incentive for these holders of a cryptocurrency asset to invest into a real estate property. So they can leverage 100% LTV of their asset, of their cryptocurrency. So say they have $1 million in Bitcoin, they can leverage 100% of that to a 30-year term at a reasonable interest rate, get their property, their tangible asset, and then they're not paying capital gain taxes on that loan, because they're leveraging against themselves. They're not liquidating their asset. Then when they pay off that loan, the bank that we partner with releases those funds back to them. Now, if they sell their property and do what they, afterwards, then there's, they have to report the taxes. They made 1031 from there and so forth. But a lot of our investors, a lot of our buyers are utilizing these DeFi loans because maybe they don't want to send their crypto assets in and then they're liquidating it and then they're paying taxes and so forth. Maybe they have a amount that they want to leverage, and they don't have to do a full outright acquisition. That lender will send the funds in to another lender who is maybe financing the rest of the deal. So that's something that we offer as well.
That's great. Now, another thing that's always very important to me is that, there are attorneys. So I'm not saying that attorneys should do everything for free, but the attorneys that we have relationships with will write a letter, uh, quietly threaten, poke, on the behalf of our buyer or seller if we get into some hot water, or lay out an email and say,
Mhm.
go ahead and do that, but here's your consequences. Do you have services like that with your title company?
Yes. So we have two in-house attorneys. So if, for general things such as verbiage, document reviews, that's included. If the attorney has to go to the clerk's office or something like that, they have to, get on the road and actually leave their desk, then there's a fee, but it's a very minimal fee compared to what you would traditionally see because they're already on retainer and being paid. So for the most part, it's, not, they're, like I said, document review, basic verbiage, additional terms, etc. Our attorneys can help you out
Cool.
for.
Now, you're saying leave the office too. Where are they located? So we're all over Florida, this group here. So,
So we have one in Miami, one in Orlando, and then if it's anywhere in between outside and it's not a commutable drive for 'em, then what we do is we have other attorneys that on retainer throughout the entire state of Florida.
okay.
Their fees do fluctuate a little bit, but we try to make it convenient for all our agents across the entire state of Florida.
Okay. So when you say contract review, because some attorneys charge for that, you're saying that, let's say I have a contract, I'm ready to have one party sign, the one I'm working with, or both. I can send the contract to the attorney, they'll review it and tell me if there's anything I need to add, take away, or that they think raises an eyebrow. Will they look at new construction, 59-page contracts for us?
That
That's
is
probably a
correct.
fee. Is that a fee?
So, great question. So
Probably.
yes, they do look at, they do look at basic contracts and new construction contracts and so forth. There is no fee for that. But if here's even if there's 50 and so forth, there really shouldn't be a fee. We're going to be super happy with that. Now, we try to make sure that the documents that we're looking for and so forth is going to be utilized. Like that deal will close with title, right? However, if you're bringing us a lot of business and say the team and so forth, and you do have a new construction deal and they have their own in-house title company like D.R. Horton or so forth, they have their own in-house lenders and title, then we're still fine reviewing it. So we just try to say, keep in mind, if this is something title is closing, then all day long we're here to review it. But if it's something that we're not closing and you still need the help, you're building a relationship with us, then we're more than happy to help out.
Of course. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. Now, tell everyone what you told me regarding the different options for closings. Now, again, as I said in the beginning of the call, you know, COVID totally threw everything up in the air for me. Like those of you out there who are realtors pre-COVID, I mean, I know it sounds nuts now, but I used to take people in my car. I used to be in my 20s and take strange men in my car to drive them around and show them properties. Chris, no comment. So we we don't, and since COVID, obviously we don't do that. And then as I've become older and smarter, how crazy, is that? They used to say, take a picture of their driver's license and leave it in the office. I'm like, why? So when they kill me, they have the guy's driver's license, like the fake one. I don't understand what that does, but so we don't do that anymore. And I'm also, it took me personally a while to get used to not having closings where everyone's together. Um, a lot of people don't attend closings. For me, it's like it's anticlimactic. If I miss the closing, I'm like, oh gosh, I've been with you for so long, what
Mhm.
happened? So now since COVID, the sellers close a week before, the buyers close after. And as a matter of fact, if you are the listing agent, they won't even let you close with the buyer because unless the buyer gives you permission, because it's none of your business what their interest rate and all that other stuff is. So again, nobody cares how I feel. So some people actually would enjoy having remote closings or having mobile notaries come to your house. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, another great point. So what we do, so first off, we have three ways of closing of mobile notary, virtual notary, and then we could close at a physical location at any Regis office across the entire state of Florida. So most people do now like the convenience. We call it the Amazon world, right? Like that's the world we live in is to have things right at our doorstep because we're just all so busy. We're even when we offer, we can close at a Regis office right around the corner from the new property or, within the area for the buyer, the seller. They're typically choosing mobile notary. And then if it's like a cash closing, commercial and some conventional and so forth, they could do virtual notary. However, the mobile notaries, they're very typically around 100 to $125 for the mobile notary. So the fees aren't too bad, and it's just a big convenience. I've had a buyer come in, they were moving across the state. They didn't even see the home in person. This is a military family, and they were following the moving truck from California to Florida, and they were closing the day they were getting there.
Oh my
And
God.
so this was just a hectic kind of closing. The moving truck is waiting, they're waiting. They met the mobile notary at the property, signed on the kitchen table, closed. The agent was there, the notary was there. They closed. The mover was coming right in and started moving right into the property. So whatever the buyer, the seller situation is, we try to make it convenient for them to have multiple ways of closing.
Now, are your mobile notaries? So I'm used to having, the closer sit down and really kind of dig into the CD for them. I mean, so is that done ahead of time and then the mobile notary just signs everything, or do they help them a little bit?
The mobile notary is going to help them and do that. They're gonna jump into the CD, answer any questions and so forth. Just like any title company that any title experience that you've ever had, they take their time. They're very thorough and they go through everything and make sure that every single document is there. If it's a lender involved, they're double verifying and so forth to make sure once again before they even get to the closing table or meeting with the buyer that all the documents are in place and have an understanding of those documents if they're not experienced with it, maybe that particular bank. So
Okay,
usually
so
very
I know
important.
that Christopher had an experience with the mobile notary, and I have as well. So you actually look into the mobile notary. You don't just pick them you vet them first and make sure they have a brain in their head.
Yeah, correct. That they have they have a lots of title experience in doing these type of transactions because that's super important to us when having a mobile notary go out that they can answer questions at the closing table. So these are just not random picked mobile notaries. We do have an internal system for mobile notary agents across the entire state of Florida with vetting and so forth. And then, of course, there's always going to be an officer, senior escrow officer, as well as our CEO, who can jump into any title transaction and answer any questions there on spot for whatever reason. There's not an answer that can be provided from that notary agent.
Perfect. Does
Yeah,
anybody have any questions at this point?
awesome.
Luke, is there
Well,
anything that I forgot to ask you?
No, no. So you've asked some great questions. What I would like to do is I would like
Go
to
ahead.
do a really quick Zoom share and kind of show you our dashboard. Every agent can get every agent on this call. Sherry, if you want to get everybody's email and so forth, I could send over a link for you all to sign up. I would like to show you how you can open up escrow 24/7 and kind of
Go
the
ahead.
benefits of having your own dashboard at Propy Title if you choose to use us.
You should
Um,
be able to share. Can you share?
Let me check right now. Bear with me.
So what was neat about this too is when I got this, let me allow you, hold on. When I got the this invitation, it said add people to it. So I added my transaction coordinator, I added my the buyers that I had, to it, and then that way I didn't have to do it. Like, talk amongst yourselves. That's what, here's all your information, leave me out of it. I don't want to know where the escrow, we're not supposed to be involved in that anyway. Just make sure everyone knows the deadline, and all of that. So can you share it? It was pretty cool.
Yes, I definitely can. I'm responding to Eric right now. He was asking for my
Yeah,
contact information.
go
I'm
ahead.
going to include my email in there. And then once again, I will follow up with everybody on today's call via email as well. So jumping into the screen share. This is a demo account, but this is what your account would look like. So here's a few really cool things that could be a big value add for your business. The first thing I would like to cover is opening up escrow. So no matter where you're at in your dashboard, you're always going to have create transaction on the top right hand side. All you need to do to create a transaction is click it, choose your role, buyer agent, seller agent, if you have a TC involved, and so forth. Say you're the listing agent, you're having a buyer come to the table, you're ready to open up escrow, you just click next. Then you drop all your executed agreements in there, right? Just like you would do via email to an escrow officer, you just drop it in and then you would click next again. Since I don't have a contract, I can't go to the next stage, but all it would do is ask you if there's a buyer agent involved. If so, what is their information? Click next again, and then it opens up escrow. That easy, real time live updates. Now the buyer agent gets a notification. They fill out their buyer's information, that buyer will now get a real live update, text notification, and email to proceed to open up escrow with escrow officer's contact information to ask any question. As
Excuse me,
soon
one thing. Can you, so because we're learning and we're all doing things, automated and have everybody else do them, if you are the listing agent, can I have my transaction coordinator take care of this?
Yes, so if you have a TC involved, we could send them their own access account link to your profile, which is really nice. So they could just go in there and include the sell side transaction or buy side transaction coordinator role and then proceed to do the same thing. We at escrow will know, hey, there's a TC involved. That's working with Sherry. So the same process would happen. However, now the TC and you as an agent will get notifications of the entire status in the transaction and instructions moving forward. So, with that being said, like I said, that's how you open up escrow 24/7. Now, here's a really cool thing. On the buy side, you're going to see my profile. We all encourage individuals to go in and open their own profile. Why is this so important? Well, first off, we want to make sure that your email and your license number is added. This is because we syndicate all your listings to our platform from your MLS. And why is that? That is so we can run marketing if you need it on your properties, but as well as to run net sheets on your property. So if you need altas, you need net sheets, you can run it yourself within seconds. And I'll show you that here in a second.
Even a buyer's net sheet?
Even a buyer's net sheet. Yes, that's correct.
Cool.
Or if you're going to a listing presentation, you can run a net sheet here. And if you're saying, hey, this is the commission or price points, best case, worst case scenario, this is what you would be looking at net wise. Extremely helpful for your listing presentations. Include your market areas in here. You'll be able to fill in your market areas. Add your headshot and your agent summary. This is because we run buyer and seller campaigns and we get leads in on a daily basis and we funnel those leads out to agents in the areas. There's no referral fee or anything for those leads. We want you to be closing and we hope to be that title agent to make that closing happen.
No, you
So,
will be. So attention, please. If you get a lead from Propy, I don't know that this has to be said, but they have to be, if your customer is able to pick and pay for title, it's got to be Propy. That's your
yeah,
public service announcement for the day, Luke.
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes,
You're welcome.
we love to make agents days by giving them listing leads or buyer agent leads. So definitely want to make sure your account is set up. Now, on the left-hand side, you're going to see your listings on a little tab right here. Now, these are demo listings, However, this is a great example of how to run a net sheet. So on all of your listings, you're going to see generate Instagram post. You could do generic social media content. Like, for example, if you just need a quick just listed, template, you have three different options. You could choose just listed, open house, just sold. You could choose different types of colors if you want on here, and then kind of customize it if you want, right? However, going back to my initial conversation, we have a full in-house marketing team that can really customize all your posts. But what I wanted to show y'all is the title quotes, to how to run a net sheet. So right now, so what you would want to do is add obviously the purchase price, or so his negotiations going, and your seller wants 565, but it's at 540, the offer, and the buyer agent saying, hey, I want this in commission, and your seller is just very hesitant. They don't know the exact number that they're going to be netting it. Well, instead of guessing or trying to run your own net sheets, you can utilize our title software system to give you a really accurate number on what you're going to be looking at for net. So it's definitely very
Very
useful.
nice. Hmm.
Uh, because we are a title company, if there's a note on the property, we should have it automatically syndicated of what we're pulling from county records. However, please verify what that amount is on that loan because it could not be accurate. They could have done a refi or something, and we're just not seeing it, or it paid off an additional amount 6 months ago, and it's just not reflective yet in the county.
Right. Well, he's not seeing it till you run title. So this is before they become your customer. You're
That
only going off of what we tell you.
That's correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it could just hit the market or so forth, or you're going to a listing presentation once again. What you could adjust the commissions, play around the closing date. It could just be performa wise, like you're just throwing out a random date. Doc stamps and title policy. You could choose it to
Mm.
seller, buyer, or they're splitting it. Same with the doc stamp, seller, buyer, or split. We'll just say seller and seller. It's going to ask, do you want to include HOA and fees and real estate taxes? Say yes. HOA, if there's one included, you would have that. It should pull those fees from once again the county records, but definitely verify those HOA fees. Make sure if it's monthly, quarterly, annually, etc. And then if there's more than one HOA fee, maybe they have a master association, you can go ahead and add an additional HOA. So you can add several. For example, here's three different HOAs. Um, I know, for example, here's a lagoon community in Wesley Chapel. They have three different HOAs because there's access to the lagoon, there's master association, and within that community, there's several smaller communities. So there could be multiple HOAs. County records, once again, should pull from county records, but definitely verify. Maybe there's a reassessment and it's just not reflecting it. Click next, and now you're going to have a nice simple net sheet. Right off the bat, you're going to know where the seller nets. And then you will have a nice detailed closing cost. Now, because this is uh not a real property, it's gonna for demo purposes, it'll have a nice little breakdown just based off of the numbers we inputted it, but it's not really a real property. But you're gonna still see notary fees, loan payoff, agent commission, title policy and underwriter fees, settlement fees and title escrow fees will all be included in here. So now you can email this net sheet on the top right hand side to your agents. Maybe you're going, I mean, sorry, to the owners. Maybe it's a listing presentation or you're in negotiations. You can email that quote to them or you can download it. So once again, super helpful, super you know, beneficial. And if you want a true Alta statement, you reach out to me. You reach out to the escrow team within 30 minutes to an hour. They will get you a true Alta statement. But this is just as good. And then last thing before I take any questions, if you have any concessions, maybe here's
Hmm.
concessions included. You just go right here, add that
Good
cost,
idea.
and then the concessions obviously are going to come from the seller. That will be factored into into the net sheet. And then we are now implementing any closing cost incentives for lenders if they're offering that. Or first like hometown heroes or so forth, we are factoring that in as well. But in the meantime, if you have any of like those special loan programs or so forth, we can get a true Alta statement with all that factored in.
Yay. And where are you and not that this is the whole point of this is it doesn't matter where you physically are, but where are you physically you personally located?
Yes. So I am currently in Tampa, Florida. I'm in Tampa, Florida. We have agents like myself all across the country. Our main headquarters is in Miami. We host the Inman event every single year. So if you're into the real estate, blogging, news articles, Inman is one of it's like Forbes of real estate, right? So we sponsor that event. You go to the Inman event every year in Vegas or Miami, and you walk in and you see a massive Propy hanger from the roof or something like that, and Propy is the main sponsor of those events. So, I
Are you
encourage
guys going to be at the Miami Rock the Market on Friday? I think you were there before.
on this Friday, I think we have some team member. I'm not going to personally be there, but I
Okay.
believe I saw some internal sales chats that there will be individuals there.
Okay, cool. We will, I'll be there. Chris and Elisa will be there. A couple of us will be there. So,
Uh, I have a question from Jessica, and she asked, "How does a pro token system work?" Thank you, Jessica, for bringing that up. I want it to be respectful to everyone's time. So I want to explain one more thing and show one more thing, and then take questions. The pro tokens. Thank you once again, Jessica, for bringing that up. So here at Propy Token, Propy Token, here at Propy, we offer tokens, aka cryptocurrency. You can think of it as a stock of a company. We are a true tradable token on several exchanges. Coinbase is one of them. You can actually get free pro tokens by going through an online course in Coinbase. So every single time you transact with Propy Title, you receive about 100 pro tokens, or you do receive 100 pro tokens, which typically sits around $1. There's some fluctuations on all of your transactions. This is in complete compliance with NAR because you're
wow.
not getting compensated from title. You're getting compensated from
Um,
Propy Corporation, which has several companies under their umbrella, and that is by utilizing our tech. So you're not getting compensated on the size of the deal, etc. You just get compensated from utilizing our technology. So if you go through and open up a transaction by create transaction button, as I showed y'all, then when you close, Propy Corporation will drop you 100 pro tokens. You can liquidate it, you could sell it. Maybe you want to invest in it. Maybe you are an investor into other types of cryptocurrencies. You can exchange it within your account. So it's an additional benefit. We have, some like I said, it's an additional benefit of making some extra money on title. Once again, because you are not getting paid from title, there is no, and we have this is full compliance with NAR. There is no affiliated business that you have to say, hey, you're earning from Propy Title because you are not earning from Propy Title. So I just want to make sure that it's completely in transparency. It is an additional benefit of working with Propy Title. And you can see right here under your account, you will see your pro tokens and your earnings. So every single time that you transact with Propy Title, you will receive. For example, in this demo account, there's 272 pro tokens earned. That is equivalency to $228. And if you want to see where you're at on the exchanges, I don't know why this does this. You could see right here on one of the major exchanges, Pro Token, where you're seeing kind of the historical of Propy Pro Token. For example, we got up to like $4 at one point. When I kind of went back to saying, hey, we don't like to give big names. Grant Cardone listed a $40 million property with us when I said we did the. Some people hate him, some people love him. He's in the news for not the best things in today's real estate world with his own syndicated opportunities. and his own little self-made REIT kind of situation. But nonetheless, he's done some big things in the real estate industry and has a massive following. So when he did a very large transaction with us, it was all over his YouTube accounts and so forth. Um, it shot up the stock. But this is something once again, if you don't have a Coinbase account, you can create one and hold your earnings or sell them and turn them into cash and withdraw them.
So you said a quick sentence, and I think I have to do this. Did you say you have a course that I'm supposed to take so I can understand what you're talking about exactly?
Yes, so there is a course that you can go to on your account and become a licensed certified cryptocurrency realtor, and that is $200 with a coupon code. However, if you close a transaction with us, you get that waived, and then you get your free certification course. You can do it at your own pace.
What would be the benefit of me? Why would I want to be a crypto certified realtor when I can just give you my crypto deals? What's the benefit of that?
Well, that's a great question because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are they're it's a real tangible asset and being able to be utilized for down payment and net worth. So buyers buying power will now go up. It's just not a source of income. So when these individuals now are speaking with lenders, they are looking for agents. They will drive you business, and you're going to want to understand the process of how that works.
So yeah, so for me, thinking about it, I was tasked to put into my GPT, how do I make myself come up in not just Google searches, but AI searches? So having, that's interesting. So maybe having that certification after my name,
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of realtors are going to be certified in that, even though, again, I don't have to understand everything, but I would come up in a search. You could vet them for me, almost like Kyle, my loan officer. I could say to you, do they have this crypto to be able to do the transaction? You're like, absolutely, go for it. And then I can take them out and they would find any one of you guys, us over someone else. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's correct. One more thing I would like to cover is when you close, you also get invited into the ambassador program. The ambassador program is held once a month, and it's a 2-hour virtual online course with our vice president of the company. And we kind of cover all things Propy, title real, as well as once again blockchain and cryptocurrency, smart contracts. But the benefit of this is you go earning 100 pro tokens per transaction to 300. So you can do the math. If it's sitting usually around $1, the additional benefit of being, hey, I am a property ambassador and so forth. So just additional benefits, of what we do. At the end of the day, the number one reason why we want to be the title company for you is to make sure that you have a smooth transaction and a great experience. Don't worry about the earnings or anything else like that. We are 24/7 statewide. We really want to make sure that your clients are taken care of and that you're paid at the time of closing, if that's how your disbursements authorization work, or if you prefer check or wire or anything else like that, we make that happen. Once again, at the end of the day, it's about the experience and quality that we try to take a lot of pride in.
Interesting. So somebody asked if they could take the course and then you reimburse them when they have their first deal with you.
Yeah,
Is that
definitely. Yeah, we would love that. We would have a certain type of a link that you would sign up so that we could keep track. And at that time, then we would, get you do a reimbursement or authorize credits to your account, however you would want, because there is other certification courses on there, such as smart contracts and blockchain, um, which could be a whole nother conversation because what's happening is count deeds have always been recorded at the county level. You look at cities as Dubai, that's a very old process to record at the county level. It should be a universal online system that you could be in California and do a chain of title search on a property in Florida. That's where smart contracts are going. It's going on the blockchain, which is essentially a ledger that contracts and deeds should be recorded. So it's a way to prevent fraud in the title world, as well as chain of title issues where there could be an error within the county record or from another title company for some reason not taking off an owner from a previous transaction, or an owner that was associated with the property that they didn't find and now is coming forward years down the road or on another sell. So there's other certification courses you could get that those credits can be used for. So yes, there's a way that we can work with you that I think everybody would be happy with if you wanted to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, but like doctors, like why does each individual doctor's office have your records? There should be a place, with HIPAA and all that, where they all have all your information, no matter where you go. Makes
I,
sense.
I love that you said that because that's kind of what I try to like give an example as because that's what they're talking with and the way they would do that is probably utilizing the blockchain, digital ledger system.
Fascinating.
Yes,
Thank you. We have a few minutes and then I want to make a few announcements before we end, but does anybody have any other questions for Luke?
No, super informative, and it was great. I'm glad I caught this. This is great. Thanks.
Me too, Miriam. I'm
Yeah,
glad you were there.
yeah.
Good,
Thanks,
Chris.
Luke. Let's connect when you get a chance.
yeah, definitely. I'll go ahead and send you over an email and then Sherry, if you can get if everybody can that was on the call today and who wasn't on the call, I don't know how if you want to get their email, CC me, put it in a group chat, however you want to do it. I would love to also get everybody over their information and then go from there.
Yeah, if there's anybody that does not want their email released, just let me know. But everyone here is pretty, whatever, just let me know for whatever reason you don't want to. Also, Luke, do us a favor. Find out who's going to be at the Miami thing on Friday so that when we walk over there, we can introduce ourselves and they don't look at us like we don't know who you are. I hate that.
Yes, yes, will do. So I got your email, Chris, or if you guys this is you could do this too while I'm on the call. I'm seeing everybody drop their emails in right now. This is perfect. So you could
I
just do
knew, Jenny, you were Sugars. I just knew it. Jenny's from Kentucky, and I knew she'd be Sugar's iPhone.
What my family calls me. Sorry. My daughter put that on there. Sorry.
I knew it. I was gonna say, is that you, Jenny? Oh,
love
that's
it.
so that's so funny. So thank you.
Oh,
This was good.
oh no, no, I was gonna say you're so welcome. If anybody I see here's a few emails dropped and some more coming on, so I'll just kind of, give it a few more minutes. I'll let y'all jump into your call and then